coming up on AAA Traveler 360. Do you have the itch to plan a vacation? We'll share the best ways to plan your next getaway with advice from the experts at AAA. Also, we'll take a look at why river cruising is sailing to the top of the list as the perfect choice for your return to travel.
And is your car ready for a road trip? We talked to a AAA car care expert who shares the essential things you need to do to your vehicle before you hit the open road. Plus, Orlando theme park pro Jenn Vernon shares everything you need to know for your next Walt Disney World or Universal Studios vacation.
You don't want to miss a thing. AAA Traveler 360 starts right now. Hi there, I'm Amy Short.
And I'm Tony Adebato. Welcome to AAA Traveler 360, a show that's all about, that's right, travel.
We're coming to you virtually from the West End in Wilmington, Delaware, and we couldn't be more excited to bring you insider tips, the latest news, trends, and so much more from AAA.
That's right, Amy. We've got a great first episode with exciting topics and destinations that will really inspire you. And every month, we'll bring travel to life with stories, ideas, and insights straight from the travel experts at AAA.
And nothing beats the value of personalized care and service you get from a travel agent, right? Let's get the show kicked off with Travel Unraveled, a look at simplifying your travel experiences. Have you ever used a travel agent to book your vacation? No? Do you find yourself saying, what can they really do for me that I can't do on my own? Well, a travel agent can actually help make your trip easier, less stressful, and often cheaper. They know when and where to go because they've literally been there. All right, Tony, let's give them a little behind the scenes peek at how we got started in the industry.
Sounds good. So Amy and I both started working here at AAA in our stores. We were travel agents, so we worked with everyone to help match them up with the right vacation experience.
And I have to tell you, I really got bit by the travel bug when I was able to go to the actual destinations I was selling to my clients. And we do that a lot here at AAA. We send our agents to different destinations with different partners so that they can understand the experience that their clients are going to receive on vacation.
Right, because we firmly believe that as part of their training, they need to have both the textbook knowledge but also the real first-hand experience, because there's nothing like being in destination and having one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences.
So let's talk a little bit about some of our favorite experiences in destination.
So I'll share.
Sure.
When I was with a group of travel agents over in Europe, we were on a river cruise with Talc, one of our great river cruise providers, and we stopped in Vienna for the night and had an amazing dinner in this private setting in the Palais Pallavicini. It was a musical, we had an opera singer, we had string quartet, we had a piano player, and it was just this incredible night with food, fun, music. I mean, it was just a memory I'll have forever. How about you?
I think we call those pinch me moments.
Yes.
And one of mine was being inside the Vatican and being taken behind the scenes to the Bramante staircase. Now, the Bramante staircase is a double helix staircase, so it's not really stairs, it's, circular.
More ramps.
More ramps, exactly. But do you know why it's ramps?
No.
Because back in the day, when the Pope needed to go into the Sistine Chapel and he had all of his vestments on, he had to be pulled by donkey up the staircase and into the Sistine Chapel. And we got to walk that very same staircase with our travel agents, courtesy of Insight Vacations, who is one of our partners in Europe.
That's fantastic. So those are the types of things that we bring our agents to experience in destination. We pair that again with that training that leads up to those trips. We do some training on the trips, and of course when they get home, all in the hopes that they are able to then take that knowledge and match that up with the right trip for the right client.
Another behind-the-scenes thing you may not know about your AAA travel agent is that there's this huge support system that provides them with resources right at their fingertips to make sure that you have the best vacation possible.
Right, so we all know that when the COVID-19 pandemic hit last year, that really changed the face of travel for everyone, right? So one of the things that we did right away was make sure that our agents had the tools and resources they needed to make sure that they could keep you informed.
We have a landing page for all of our travel agents that's updated daily for what country requirements are, what passport information you need, whatever destination it is, we have it at their fingertips.
right? Because while we know you're ultimately going to make the decision for yourself whether or not to travel, our job is to make sure that we give you all the information you need to make that informed decision. So Aim, what are some of the places that folks who are ready to travel are choosing to go to today?
Well, of course, the United States is very popular. So we have the national parks, road trips, and most recently, Hawaii.
Yeah, it's been great that they've relaxed their policies a little bit for domestic travelers. I know if you are itching to get out of the country, Mexico and the Caribbean islands, many of them are still open and you're still able to travel to even now.
Absolutely. And as we look forward, we're seeing strong trends for river cruising and even longer voyages for like 10 to 25 days. You know why? Because people are ready to make up for that lost time.
That's right. And travel really is a personal decision. And when the time is right for you, our AAA travel agents are here to help you navigate the current environment and will plan the perfect vacation for you.
River cruising has grown in popularity over the past several years, and while most of the itineraries were put on hold in 2020 due to the pandemic, travel experts point to river cruising as an ideal way to begin exploring the world once again. With us today is Gary Murphy, Senior Vice President of Sales and co-owner of AMAWaterways, to share why river cruising is surging in popularity. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Amy. It's great to see you. Thank you for this opportunity.
So what are some of the benefits of seeing the world via a river cruise?
One of the great things about river cruising is that you're sailing within the country. You're on a cruise ship, a river cruise ship, but you're sailing within the destination. So we follow the guidelines and protocols of the countries we're sailing through. River cruising also is a great use of the clients or your members' time. If you can imagine, at night, you're cruising. You wake up in a beautiful new port. And the most scenic parts of the river, we design our itineraries so you can view those in a perfect setting. When you arrive in a town with 150 passengers, 160 passengers, like an AMAWaterways ship accommodates, the town goes around its daily routine as if you weren't even there. You feel very welcomed. You walk right off the ship, and you have all the different sightseeing programs included. If you can imagine, with AMAWaterways, we carry 25 bikes. So you can go biking with 2 guides along the banks of the river. You can actually bike from one port to the next, or you can go on a hiking excursion with a couple of our guides, or we have a leisurely paced sightseeing tour, a moderate pace, and a more quick paced sightseeing tour. So it's a great use of your time, and we have something for everybody. It's great just to be part of the destination. It's not like you're witnessing it from afar. You're actually in the country itself.
So for someone who is new to river cruising, what is it like on board? What's included?
River cruising, like we touched upon earlier, is a very, very fast growing way of travel, way of experiencing these wonderful destinations. But what is new to river cruising, or what makes it so delightful, is the use of your time while you're on vacation. You wake up, you're in a whole new port. And you have an early riser breakfast if you choose to want to get out early. We have your main breakfast. We include your sparkling wines, your champagnes, your gourmet coffees, your teas, bottled water throughout your cruise. We also, at lunch, we include your beer and your wine and soft drinks, and your coffees, again, I mentioned, are included throughout your cruise. An hour before dinner, we host a cocktail reception, open bar. And then during dinner, just like at lunch, we serve exquisite wines, reds and whites, of course, beer, if you would like a glass of beer. Then after dinner, Amy, if you would like, for example, a gin and tonic, you can sign it to your escape room. We do this because over half the guests go ashore after dinner. And we don't think it's fair that those people going ashore are subsidizing those people that are staying on board for their cocktails. But what we also include are all the shore excursions. And even if they're culinary shore excursions, if you're going truffle hunting with a farmer on the Rhone, or going into a 200-year-old wine cellar in Rudesheim, or making pretzels in Wertheim, all of those are included. Plus, we have specialty restaurants. We have the chef's table, 14 or 15 different courses, different wines with the different courses. Those are all included. Very important in today's world is the internet. We include all of the Wi-Fi, and we spend more on bandwidth than we do on fuel. We go crazy making sure you have the best speed and availability. So when you're going on a waterways cruise, you can feel very, very, you're not reaching into your pocketbook. You can really enjoy the experience and come back that much more enriched by visiting these countries in such a unique way.
So Gary, let's look post-pandemic. What are you guys seeing as far as booking trends?
Well, the members are telling us, the clients are telling us that they believe we'll be sailing, looks like July forward. Our bookings that are on the books now for May and June, a lot of people are moving out. So we have strong bookings for cruising end of July forward, and 2020, I remind our sales team of this, but 2022 is off the charts. I mean, we are far ahead of any bookings historically that we've had for advanced sales. But Amy, it almost should be that way because we haven't sailed last year, except for in the European market for the European traveler. And it looks like the first half of this or first couple quarters of this year, we're not sailing. So there's all this pent up demand. So if you are thinking of going on a river cruise, look now to book. We start cruising in March of next year, but we're also cruising, we anticipate cruising probably mid-July, but I don't know. I mean, I dropped my crystal ball some time ago. I have a bet with our chief marketing officer. She thinks we'll be starting cruising in May, but who knows?
Now, I'm booked to sail down the Rhine in September, and I can't wait. But let's shift gears a little bit, Gary, and let's talk to the seasoned river cruisers. What are some of the new and exciting things happening at AMA?
Well, you know, the pandemic has taught us a few things about how best to operate. We did operate this past year for the German-speaking market from June through November, late June into November. We had around 1,500 clients travel with us, and we didn't have any incident of COVID. So we designed the way, we sort of changed some of the designs. We've updated our kitchens. We're going to more like cooking stations where we're serving you. We are now also going to have a stateroom menu, so you can dine out on your balcony. So we've made these different changes, and I anticipate they'll be very, very well received.
Gary Murphy from AMAWaterways, thank you so much for joining us. We're predicting that 2021 is going to be the year of the Great American Road Trip, and I don't know about you, Tony, but I'm ready.
Me too, Amy. And as you pack up and head out on your next adventure, you're not alone if you're wondering if your car is ready for the journey. We're getting a lot of questions about this, so we sent our own Mickey Dudas to talk to one of our car care experts to find out what you need to do before you go.
2021 is the year of the road trip, and it's time to start planning. Is your car ready for the journey? We're here at AAA Car Care Center to talk to expert Daryl Thompson. And what do you need to know to road trip safely?
There are some things that we can check at home, and there are some things that we need to check with a professional. So, one of the first things that people think about is tire pressure. Most people don't know this, but most vehicles have, in the driver's door, there is a sticker that shows the proper pressures for the vehicle to be set at. So you want to take a pressure gauge, you press it on there. We found that the pressure for this tire is currently right around 32 pounds. So we want to make a slight adjustment. Then always double check your pressure afterwards. So now we're at 35 pounds. The basic rule of thumb is to put the penny down in the tread, avoiding these tread ribs. This right here is a measurement for 2/32. You want to put the penny in upside down, and if you can see the top of Lincoln's head from the side, you are definitely due for tires. If there's any uneven wear, where it's wearing on the outside, wearing on the inside, or wearing in the middle more than others, you want to have that taken a look at and with a professional. You also want to check your turn signals and your headlights. Check your brake lights, check your license plate lights. You also want to check your wipers, so you want to gently lift up. It should come to a resting position here. You want to feel along the edge, make sure it's a smooth edge. and also make sure that it's got full contact whenever it presses down against the windshield. And you want to move the wipers to let them, to verify that you're not streaking and that you can see out the windshield.
So I know there are some things that we can do to get our cars ready at home, but there are other things that are probably better done by a car care professional at a car care facility. So what are some of the things that you would recommend bringing a car in to make sure it's roadworthy?
So it's very important for a vehicle to be able to go, but it's also very important for a vehicle to be able to stop. So part of our brake inspection is there's a visual inspection and or a road inspection. This is a tool that measures brake pad thickness. So obviously, we're familiar with the green, yellow, red. Green is good, yellow is caution, red is time to address right away. So the thickness of this brake pad, this one measures 6 millimeters. We start to recommend replacement between 3 and 4 millimeters, depending on the overall condition of the brake pads and system. Alrighty, so under the hood, we want to check your fluid levels, and some of these fluid levels are something you can check at home. So, the main one that comes to mind, engine oil. You pull it out, wipe it off once. That first one tells us nothing because it has been running and splashing around inside there. You want to push the dipstick all the way back down, then pull it back out. And each dipstick is a little different. On this dipstick, you see it's got one hole down low and one hole up high. So that's the range of accepted level. So you're right here at the top, which is good.
So what's this showing?
This is a battery tester.
Oh, okay.
Your automotive professional should have a battery tester like this.
So it's testing the life of the battery?
It's testing the amperage, testing the voltage, and also it's checking what's called reserve health.
Okay.
Reserve health. How well the battery charges down and charges back up. Good news, this one's showing it as a good battery.
So what is the one piece of advice or recommendation do you have for travelers taking their car on a road trip?
Probably the best bit of advice would be to take your car to, for lack of a better wording, to its doctor. Your automotive professional is your car's doctor. So, to be able to prevent the things that are preventable, it would be best to take a look at it. Just like when we go to a doctor, we'd like to get things checked out. We'd like to make sure that we're doing well. Same thing for the car, or SUV or pickup truck. The best situation is to take the vehicle to its doctor, the automotive professional.
Great advice. Thank you.
Some great advice there. For more information on getting your car ready for a road trip, visit AAA.com/theextramile.
Whether it's your first or your 33rd time planning a trip to an Orlando area theme park like Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando Resort, you may realize there's a lot involved. So here to talk with us today about her experiences, as well as to share some insights on family travel to the most magical place on earth, Jenn Vernon. Welcome to AAA Traveler 360, Jen.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, I know that you've been going to Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando Resort since you were a child. I'm sure you have some amazing memories to share.
I do. So my first trip to Disney was when I was 8 weeks old. Now, I don't have memories from that, but we do have a lot of great memories. So when I was little, I got to be the Grand Marshal twice on the Disney Parade. Yep. So the first time I was on a Roger Rabbit float, and we got to wave to everyone, and they announced our names as we went through the park, so it was really cool. And then the second time, I was actually on their fire truck.
I didn't even know Disney had a fire truck in the parade. I guess I need to go down and check that out
You
myself,
do.
huh? So what's your favorite memory at Universal Orlando Resort?
Ooh, at Universal. So my mom loves the Blues Brothers, and so did my son. So they come out a couple times a day to perform, and when they did, my son was dancing up and down the street. Now, he was only like 3 years old, but it was really nice to see my mom enjoying something so much that my son did.
That's great. So let's talk about getting to Orlando. If you're driving, how do you go about planning your travel? So time of day, the length of the trip, how does that all work out?
So we're from the Philadelphia area, so we always make sure that we leave around 4 a.m. This way we get to beat the Virginia and DC traffic. Now, there's another added bonus to that because the kids are actually asleep in the car since it's so early. So there's no, are we there yet? So it's great to have to not listen to that.
So how do you keep the kids entertained and engaged while you're on a trip that's that long?
Sure, so we play games.
Okay.
So typically, my mom will put together and my dad cash cab. So my dad will play cash cab over the car stereo, and my mom will ask questions. It's typically tied to our trip, and then you can win prizes, so like candy or lottery tickets. So it's a great way to keep the kids engaged and, keeps them entertained.
Now, running this trip over so many times over the years, is there one place you always stop on your way down?
It's always the Florida Welcome Center. So you get to get theme park maps there, so you can have the kids look at the maps, get excited, try to plan out what it is that they'd like to do. You also get a fresh Florida orange juice. That's a must-have.
That's a nice touch. I like that.
And then after that long drive, you have to get your picture in front of the Florida Welcome sign. That's like the rite of passage.
And once you get there, I know that the size of those theme parks can really be intimidating, especially if it's your first time there.
For sure.
So how do you go about planning which days you're going to visit which parks and what rides you're actually going to get on as a family?
So typically we have the kids look at the map and we have them pick their top 2, their must-haves, and we make sure that we get to all of those rides. And then I try to organize the trip as best as I can so that we're not doing a lot of backtracking. As far as riding rides, I think my dad came up with the best solution for that. So I came home from work one day to pick my kids up from my dad, and he had all the kids lined up on the floor, and they had Big Thunder Mountain on the TV, and they were riding the ride, and they were having a blast. So it's a great way to actually look at the rides and see what you might want to do if you're not sure.
I love that. That's such a great little trick that you've picked up. Now, since the pandemic began last year, what has changed in the parks in terms of the guest experience?
Sure, so the guest experience, you have to wear a mask if your age is 2 and up, unless you're actively eating or drinking. And they do have places throughout the park where you can stop and take a break. There's social distancing markings on the floor, of course, like that's standard with anywhere else you might go nowadays.
I remember that prior to the pandemic, Disney actually changed the way that their tickets work, and now you need to make reservations for which day you want to visit which specific park. So how far in advance do you recommend booking those reservations?
You should book them right away as soon as you purchase your ticket. And that's because things fill up quickly, right? So you want to make sure you're booking the trip the way you want to and seeing the parks on the days that you want to. So if you are going to go, though, I would recommend that you go to Disney's Hollywood Studios, pick the day you want to do that, and then do everything else around it. And that's because that park tends to fill up much quicker. So if you want to go to see Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you should definitely do that first.
Great. Now, I've heard that there are actually some advantages to visiting theme parks right now for people who feel ready to go. Is that true?
Yes, it is for sure. So, I'm ready to go. I actually have a trip booked in October. So when you do go, because of the limited capacity, there are not as many people in the park, so shorter lines. Now, they won't look shorter when you're going through because everybody's at 6 feet apart.
Right.
But they do go quickly. So there is advantages for going now.
With everything going on, did Disney and Universal decide to put all their new openings on hold for a while?
Oh, no, absolutely not. So they have definitely continued to expand. Universal actually has a new hotel that just opened. It's called Dockside Inn and Suites, and they have a roller coaster coming this summer, which looks really cool. As far as Disney, of course, there's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and it's open right now, so anybody can go. And I know a lot of people are really excited about that.
Well, Jen, thanks so much for being with us here on AAA Traveler 360 and sharing all of these helpful tips.
Thanks for having me.
It's so great to hear from a real expert like Jen.
It is, and I love the guests that we were able to bring to our very first episode.
So thanks to all of you for joining us for our first show. I'm Amy Short.
And I'm Tony Adebato. For the latest travel news, tips, and more around the globe, head to AAA.com/Traveler360. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.